she herself did not even believe it was possible for the show to be that popular. That's not who I am. I'm not like the guy who's gonna cry randomly for losing a game. I was ranked number 1.
In Canada or in the world?
In the world.
No way.
Bitcoin is being adopted like a network, like a protocol, like the internet, like cell phones, like the telephone.
I'd heard just a few things about it, but never...
There was a huge scandal about him and he stopped doing TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, also, like, for you, you're not... I mean, Alberto is still very much active in doing what you guys were doing when you started Pijong Samwedan, but for you, you've moved away completely almost.
I have. It's not fun like it used to be. I remember when we first started Pijong Samwedan, all of us, all 12 of us were super excited to do something we felt was very popular and everybody was having such a good time, except the Korean staff and the Korean guests.
Why?
Yeah. I guess it's their job. So when it's your job, even singers who are really good at singing and dancing, when they go on TV to sing and dance, you feel it. As soon as the cameras are off, they want to go home.
Yeah. Because there's just so much work, so much repetitiveness.
I guess.
Yeah.
Actors are the same. You're an actor.
Yeah, but for me, the excitement is, I guess, because I feel like it is my calling. So, like, I'm excited every time I step on set. Like, sometimes you're, like, really tired and you're like, oh, this is going to be a hard day, especially if you've done, like, 4 days in a row and it's night shoots. But I still, every day when I arrive to set, I'm like, I'm so fortunate to be able to do this thing that I really like.
Yeah. Let's talk again when you have a star in Hollywood.
Yeah.
See how much you want to go home after work.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, especially if you have a family and these type of obligations that then, compound and you're like, I have a newborn baby. I kind of want to see the baby. But so then for you, it was, at that point, it was very exciting. I mean, at that time in Korea, it was a completely new concept. You guys were the pioneers of the foreigners coming in and making it mainstream, right?
Well, there was this program called 미녀들의 수다. It was on, I think it was on KBS. A bunch of girls. The show was really popular, and all those girls became quite famous. They did the commercials. They did pretty well, but we were the first ones. We were not expected to succeed, to say the least, because that program was airing on Monday nights.
Is that like a dead slot?
That was a dead slot, the deadest of all dead slots.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's never been a program that had a high viewership rate on that day.
Wow.
I think it was at 9:30 or 10 o'clock p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it on JTBC from the start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said the 12 of you. Who were the original members? The original 12 from the first episode?
Well, there was me, Alberto. There was Samu Chiri from Ghana, Enes from Turkey. There was, I think there was Tyler from the States. And then who did we have? We had Takuya from Japan, Robin from France, Julian from Belgium, and some other guys.
Yeah, so
but only
the Chinese guy, what was his name?
Yes, Chang Yan.
Yeah,
Chang
right.
Yan was there.
I remember watching him and thinking he came across very stoic. He's very reserved.
Yeah, he was very interesting. He still is pro-China, but he was very. He didn't experience other cultures very much. We're young. We're still young. I'm still young, but we were really young back then, and a lot of people. And I mean, I guess when you're young and you're becoming an adult, you feel like all the experience you've accumulated during your life, you know what's right, what's good, and you always feel like your culture is just better until after a few months you keep talking with these other guys who have totally different point of views on every single issues. But the more you listen to them, the more you learn, and the more you sort of say, there's not only one answer to every question. So not all cultures are, even though they're different, they can be all equally good. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you needed to censor yourself on the show, or do you feel like sometimes the editing did censor some of the stuff, or were you guys because when I arrived to Korea, when I watched that the first time, I was like, this is amazing. these guys came to Korea, which is a very homogenous country. They all speak varying degrees of good Korean.
Yeah.
And they're just going full on, not attacking, but like
Yeah.
delving into each other's cultures.
yeah.
And I wonder, like, was there a degree of, like, I need to censor, like, I could step on some toes? Because there were some interesting people. Like, was Lucky a part of the original cast?
No, it was not. But
Okay.
from the beginning, we didn't know anything about Korean TV. So most of the stuff, well, not most of the, some of the stuff that we said, all of us would have been not received very well by the Korean people. So there was I think they had 8 writers, and they would go through the scripts of everything we said, and whenever there was something that could be controversial, because sometimes you don't really know until it airs, they would just cut it out. So they played it really safe, and also when they picked the first 12 guys, they made sure that they picked people that were not likely to cause trouble.
I see.
For many different reasons.
I see.
Even in their personal life. So they tried to get the 착한, the
So you
the
were
nice
regarded
people.
as safe.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you are. You're not really a super controversial person. Like, I know you personally as a friend, and I know you're just a very honest, sincere guy. Like, it's with you, it's very much what you see is what you get. Like, you don't have. I don't feel like you're hiding something maliciously. It's a very honest interaction when discussing anything or just having conversation.
Yeah, what you see was you get. Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't really have a filter. Even these days when sometimes I still go on TV once in a while, once every 2 months maybe. I don't really have a filter. So I try not to do any live TV programs.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need this guy live on air. Like, let him do a Pyeongjip section. Yeah.
Yeah. Pyeongjip is nice.
So did you expect the huge success that came with that 9 o'clock slot? Or
No, nobody
Monday
did.
slot?
I became really close friend with the woman, the 국장님 of JTBC, the director, who decided to make this program. And she herself did not even believe it was possible for the show to be that popular. Because, the idea first came to her when she went to the United States with her twins. They were about 10 years old, and they were learning how to speak English. And it was a bunch of non-natives who were put around a table like this, and they were arguing about what candy is the best, for instance. And the parents were having so much fun laughing at their kids just try to use the little English they have to argue about something very simple, like what's the best food, what should we have for dinner, or something like that.
So the language nuance is what made it fun.
And she said, I'm going to do the same thing in Korea with foreigners from different countries, different cultures, who don't speak Korean that well, and we're going to make a TV program out of that.
Wow, that is amazing intuition.
Yeah, that was the idea.
To do that, because and then you guys, I think at peak, you guys reached like 20%, 25% the ratings.
Not nationally, but our ratings were very, very high for the Seoul and Seoul area, especially towards women. And apparently that's where the money's at. So
really?
all the companies who want to advertise, they focus on the people that live around Seoul, and women from, I think it's 19 to 49 or something like that.
Damn, so it became like this, like golden goose.
I think so. I think so. And also, I lost my train of thought.
But you were one of the like already kind of known people from the show, because a lot of them were new, had never been not only on TV but had no public exposure. But you were one of the, I don't know who else, but you were one of the few who was already kind of known in Korea, right, at that time.
Yeah, I came to Korea in 1999 to play StarCraft.
1999, man, I was 8.
I was 17.
Wow, that's very young.
I just turned 18, actually.
To play StarCraft?
Yeah, to play in the StarCraft tournament. And I stayed here for 3 weeks, and I totally loved it. So where I'm from, we go to university 1 year earlier than we do in Korea, for instance.
Okay.
So I was ready to go to university, and I was going to study chemistry, physics, and some other applied sciences. Because I thought I was good at math in high school, but I realized in university you actually have to put a lot of work to be good at that kind of stuff. And I said, maybe it's not for me. So I decided to take 3 months off.
Were you already good at StarCraft back home? Were you playing a lot?
Yes, I was ranked number 1.
In Canada or in the world?
in the world.
No way. Wait. Okay, so I know people in Korea like they're like, oh, Guillaume's like a StarCraft legend, but
Yeah.
okay, so you're like number one in the world.
Let me go back a little bit.
Yeah,
1 year
please do.
before that, my dream was to become an athlete. I wanted to ski, so I made the elite local team, like in the province of Quebec. So I went to this special school where you only had wannabe celebrities, wannabe athletes, who studied only in the. We didn't study in the afternoon. Afternoon was always for exercise, or the singers would sing, the actors would act. I would go ski. But obviously in Quebec, in March, the ski resorts, they close. There's no more snow anymore. So what I did, we just went home. So I just went home I arrived home, as nobody home. All my friends are at school. My parents are working. I'm on the computer, right? And then StarCraft came out. So I started playing StarCraft after school.
So in 1 year, did you?
Well, the game came out. Everybody started at the same time. I started playing when the game came out.
And that was what, when you were 16 or something?
I was probably 16, yeah.
Well, so you were gifted.
I was gifted, but also I had more time than most
Everyone
kids
else,
to play.
Yeah.
So I became number one. I started traveling first to Europe and the United States.
Because you were so good.
Yeah, you get invitations to tournaments. They pay for your flight, and then there's a prize pool, usually around $10,000.
Wow.
So I won a lot of those tournaments.
What? At 17,
Yeah.
I don't think I saw $10,000 until I was like in my later 20s, bro.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got
Yeah.
lucky. But then StarCraft, like most of the games 25 years ago, got less and less popular as time went by, and more games were coming out. Every month there's a new really cool game that comes out, so people switch. But for some reason that maybe nobody in the world can understand, in Korea that did not happen. Everybody started playing StarCraft, and more people played, so much that the Korean some TV station decided to dedicate TV channels to StarCraft. There was 3 of them.
Wow.
So when I heard about all that, and then the prize pools were so much bigger, that's when I decided maybe university can wait. I'll go for 3 to 6 months. I told my parents I'm going with my money. I'm an adult. I'm like, I'll be back.
I'm looking after myself.
Yeah, I'll look after myself. So I got a plane ticket and I just came, and everybody knew me. I mean, not everybody knew me, but if I go to a PC Bang, internet cafe, people would recognize me, and they knew my ID, they knew my name. They asked for autographs. Yeah, that was weird. That was really weird.
You arrived here like fresh off the boat. You probably spoke no Korean at that time, right?
Nothing.
And you're already kind of in this subculture, a celeb.
Yeah, well.
I mean, because if you're number one, people, if they're asking your autograph and photos, you're a celeb.
Yeah, for the StarCraft, the hardcore StarCraft fans they knew me. They knew about me. But then it's when I joined the team and I started playing in those tournaments that are televised. That's when more and more people start recognizing me.
In Korea?
In the streets, yeah.
So how long did it take you to become like I don't want to say a household name, but like reasonably well-known outside of StarCraft? Because every person I've ever met you with, most people, if it wasn't Bijong Samedam, they were like, I was a huge fan of you during the StarCraft days. And I was, like, usually like they're like 40-year-old, like 50-year-old, could be ajoshis even, you know?
Yeah, well, the first people who started asking for my autographs were ajoshis. They were over 30-year-old.
Wow. Yeah. And at that time, they were ajoshis to you, like, because you were
they
like,
were very ajoshis.
You were like 18, 19, probably,
Yeah, but 25 years ago, a 30-year-old looked like a 45-year-old look today. Something happened. I don't know, nutrition or skincare. Koreans stopped aging. Since I came here.
I'm sad it didn't work for me. Like, I'm still aging. I'm like, sometimes I look at my friends and I'm like, how are you this young? You're like 40 and you look 25.
I know.
We didn't get that memo, bro. You and me.
Yeah, I think it's the genes, the
nutrition,
skincare, I don't know.
The kimchi, bro.
It's the kimchi.
We
need more kimchi.
Well, I'm eating some kimchi these days, but anyway. So then, okay, you came, you arrived, you became big, and then from that, how long was it between that and then getting onto Bijong Samedam?
So I retired from StarCraft in 2004.
So you only had a 5-year stint.
Yeah, and I was.
Is that considered long as a gamer?
Well, for StarCraft, I thought it would be, But nowadays, there are older pro gamers, people over 30 years old that are really, really good. But back then, I totally lost interest in playing StarCraft. I didn't have the desire to win, and especially to practice 6-7
So
hours
it's like
a day.
a sport where you have to like put in the time and like consistently be practicing in order to be good.
Even more so, I would say, because there's always a new map. Every tournament, they will make a new series of map, probably like 6 or 7, and then you got to learn them. And if you don't practice on those maps a lot, so that you know everything about it, then you don't really stand a chance to win a tournament.
Is it similar to an F1 driver, for example, studying the race course? Like if you're racing in Monaco, you know where the turns are, the pins, where you can speed up, where you slow down, brake hard. Is it similar in the sense that knowing the topography or the map is very beneficial to you? You can't go in blind, otherwise you're screwed.
Yeah, that's kind of like that. But there's so many variables that you need hundreds of hours per map every month, every new tournament. So there's a lot of practice involved, and I just wasn't really into it. And also, online poker became a thing, and
So you got into the poker right around the StarCraft time?
Right after I retired.
Okay.
Because I knew a lot of non-professional but really good StarCraft players, and I would say 95% of them did really well. Like really well at poker.
Yeah. And why is that? What is the correlation between being a good StarCraft player and a good poker player?
They're both strategy games of missing information. So in StarCraft, it's not like chess or
Badu.
Go. Yeah. There's so much missing information. You always have to be kind of guessing, inferring what the other guy could be doing, what's his optimal strategy in that situation, because I know what he knows about me and he knows what I know about him, but it's very little unless you're cheating, you're map hacking.
Yeah.
But we're not allowed to use those softwares when we play tournaments, obviously.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guessing going on. So they're both strategy games, and poker is kind of like it's the same. You don't know what 2 cards they're holding, because we played Hold'em poker. So they're holding 2 cards, I'm holding 2 cards, but we still have quite a bit of information about each other.
Based on how they're playing or the moves they're making during the game.
Yeah, based on the position the guy is in. If we're playing 9 players in early position, he's much more likely to have a good hand, for instance. But we have also software that track online. We have software that track all sorts of frequencies. So this player in that position plays quite a few hands.
Okay.
So usually you'd be expecting him to have a strong hand, but because you know that he's a loose player, as we say, then
doesn't mean he's wild.
He's wild.
Yeah.
So he's not. You don't have to give him as much credit as you would normally.
Yeah. He'll bet big and maybe not even have a good hand.
He will just play any 2 cards, for instance.
Okay.
That would be a bad player.
That's a loose player.
Yeah, but you can be a really good player and be a loose player also.
Okay.
But back in the day, there was the game of poker was kind of new online, and it was easy to pick it up.
Okay.
If you would want to become a professional poker player today, that's a really hard thing. You'd have to study a little bit like StarCraft. Like everybody is so good.
Is there a high bar to entry just based on the pool of existing players? There's a lot of really, really good people, and obviously just a lot of software that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, well, when the game's been around for 20, well, the game itself has been around for a very long time.
But online,
that's really when you get like the millions of people that play every day, and the ones that survive, that don't go broke.
Yeah,
they're the ones that are really good, and these guys keep playing, and then every time more people come in, it's kind of like a filter, because if you're not, unless you have a really good job, like a really, really good job, you cannot be playing online 6 hours a day at kind of high stakes.
Because you'll be broke.
You'll go broke so fast.
Yeah.
Poker is not like baccarat or blackjack.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're doing, you lose money really fast.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, you probably lose. Most people lose money or break even.
Yeah.
And there's a few percentage of players that actually make quite a bit of money. But
so you were part of that, right? Of that group.
All of us were part of that. It was easy back. Now, if I go play online, I'm 100% sure I will lose.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would have to put so much work
just to get back to break even. So, but in Korea, as far as I know, is it illegal to play poker?
Online? I don't know, but they have tournaments now. in the hotels and the casino for Koreans.
Oh, okay.
But the way they go around the law is something I don't know much about. But
Interesting.
I heard you buy some kind of coupon, and then when you win, you get a bunch of coupon which you can change right away for money.
Okay.
So it's kind of like.
But also, I guess you're a Canadian citizen, so the rules don't apply to you in that sense. Like if you're playing online, you're playing in international borders.
Well, yeah, I can play at all the casinos. I can play in the tournaments.
Yeah.
There's some big tournaments in Korea.
Because in
Jeju.
Korea, Koreans can't go to some of the casinos, but
Yeah.
foreigners can.
Yes, but
Yeah.
the tournaments for Koreans would be in like some kind of hall. They would have the dealers and the tables there
Interesting.
for the Koreans.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So you were already doing that, and then so the main 작가님 knew about your StarCraft and about your poker.
Yes.
And by that time, how good had your Korean become?
I was not good enough. It was probably as good as yours.
Listen, that's pretty good. That's a good level.
You've gotten a lot better recently, but it was not good enough. It was not good enough. I had to go to school.
How old were you?
I was 33.
Okay.
So I'd already been living in Korea for over 10 years.
16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my Korean just stopped improving after a while. So I had to go to school. I went to 어학당. So nowadays it's not called 어학당. It's called 언어문화교육원.
Oh, really?
So I went to Samyongdae학교 and I spent 3 months studying Korean 3 days a week, 4 hours a day,
Wow.
12 hours a week. So, and with the homework and everything.
Just to get better, to keep improving. Because I felt like, for me, I hit a plateau around year 6, 7.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until like 2 years ago when I started doing the Korean acting school,
Yeah.
where I had to like analyze Korean scripts, study them, memorize them. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, my level went like this plateaued, and then it went up again. I was like learning so many new things just because I was applying.
Yeah. Well, when we started 비정상회담, we spent probably a total of 30 hours a week preparing and filming the show.
Wow.
So we had like lots of meetings with the writers.
Yeah.
They would ask us all sorts of questions. They would send the questions first, and we had to research what we were going to say and like get the factual information about, let's say, Canada. What's the birth rate in Canada? Like,
Yeah.
I just don't put a number out of my head.
Yeah.
I actually research it and I translate everything in Korean, send to the writer, and then we meet, we talk about it. There was so much back and forth, and they would fix our broken Korean also.
Yeah.
So that maybe they hope that we might say something that's understandable. That can be understood by the people. So yeah.
what amongst the 12 participants there, where did your Korean rank?
Oh, I was one of the worst.
Really? Because
Yeah.
I mean, when I watched it the first time, it was 2016, and I had only been in Korea for a year. So I thought, wow, you seem like one of the more confident people in the show. So I thought, oh, you're probably better amongst the people.
2016 is after I studied Korean for 3 months.
I see.
Really hard. And I've been doing the show for a while. But at the beginning,
When did it start?
we started filming in 2014.
Okay.
And it started airing, I guess, in 2015.
Yeah, that's when I arrived.
Yeah. So 2016, I was already much better.
So one of the worst. So who would you say when the show started was really had the best command of the language? Was who had like the upper hand because they were just so good?
Well, there was this Turkish guy who was just not only really good at Korean, but he was very, in any language, he's really good, really good. He's charismatic, and he speaks really well, and he can translate on the spot from that language to that language, and he's funny.
Interesting.
That was Enes from Turkey.
Enes, okay.
Yeah. He was really good. He's really, really good. Like, you can compare him to an average Korean guy, and he will do a really good job.
Oh, really? Was he better than Tyler at that time? A quick shout out to Freedom for sponsoring this video. If you've seen me training, you've definitely seen their gear. They're partnered with Olympia, so you know it's a legit brand. All of their links are down in the description. Have a look, buy something. Appreciate you, Freedom.
Tyler is very good also. Tyler is more probably knowledgeable. He knows more Hanja. He knows more 사자성어.
He's more like a scholar of the language.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
But Enes was kind of born to be on TV. Like,
Interesting.
yeah.
I don't think I've ever met him. I'd heard just a few things about, but never.
There was a huge scandal about him, and he stopped doing TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, it seems like that's a theme these days. We were just talking about earlier, a lot of scandals. So then, if he was one of the best, who would you say was one of the not so best amongst that group?
Well, Takuya from Japan. And by the way, he came here. He was really young back then, and now his Korean is flawless.
Really?
Like
as good as mine is.
His grammar is flawless.
Because I mean, I guess the Japanese and Korean grammar are pretty similar, right?
I guess. He got married with a Korean lady.
Yeah, Robin got married recently.
His Korean now is really, really good.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You got to learn when you're young, because I put a lot of work into my Korean when I was 33.
Yeah.
And I mean, I improved, but like just a little bit.
Marginal.
But the younger guys that spoke arguably not as well as I did when we first started the show. I mean, I don't know how much work they put into learning Korean, but they improved so fast.
It's amazing because I read a study on this. When we're younger, we're just able to retain so much more information and process it because we don't have a lot of information that can corrupt what we know. So because it's kind of like a blank slate, you're just like absorbing everything, and your ability to retain is so phenomenal. So
absolutely.
For us, like I also started studying Korean when I was 23, 24, 25. And I know because I'm already bilingual that my ability in Korean, even though I study a lot, is never gonna be at that level where I feel like I'm as good, like 모국어처럼, like as a mother tongue. I'll never be that good.
I have a little daughter. She's learning Korean because she lives in Korea.
Yeah.
And within 3 or 4 years, I'm pretty sure that her Korean will be better than mine.
Do you speak? So obviously your wife is Korean.
Yeah.
Little Leia is half Korean, half French Canadian. So we have 3 languages in the mix, right?
Yes.
So what do you speak to her at home?
Probably 70% Korean, 20% English, 10% French. So
wow. So she at home she's getting 90% Korean.
Yeah,
because your wife is also speaking obviously only Korean to her.
My wife speaks French and English as well, so she tries to speak, a little bit when she can. But it's really the Korean that she hears most of the time, and that's the language that she understands and speaks. She knows a few words in English. Like yesterday, we taught her "Oh my God," and she started saying "Oh my God." Most of the time, when I teach her a word in French or English, she just doesn't want to repeat it. She's too young. She's like 2.5.
I guess her maternal language is now Korean, so it's gonna be the one that she's more comfortable in for at least the foreseeable future, right? Yeah. Do you feel like you're gonna make or you need to make an effort to make sure you consistently speak in English to her to make sure she retains a part of you, as she grows older, either French or English?
My number one priority for her education is language.
Okay.
Languages.
Yeah.
So I want her to speak perfect English, perfect Korean, and French, like well enough that she can travel in France by herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a friend, or not a close friend, but an acquaintance who's married to a Korean, and he is from South Africa, but he's an Afrikaans South African. So he doesn't. His mother tongue isn't English, so he speaks Afrikaans, right? So he speaks Afrikaans. It's because it's Korea. If you're a foreigner, you speak English. Then his mother is Korean, and he's going to a German school. So this kid is like 5, and he's very, very fluent in 4 languages.
Wow.
At the age of 5. So he speaks German, Korean, English, and then Afrikaans because his dad said, I refuse to not let my son speak my mother tongue. So I think the kids have this amazing resilience about them where you just throw something at them and they're just gonna absorb it.
Absorb everything. Yeah.
So beside languages, what else are you? Because I know Leia, she's just the cutest little angel in the world. What else do you see as a father? Do you like if language is important? What else do you feel is important?
Physical activity. I think sports, ballet, and fine arts are really important. These are things that fine arts I never did when I was a kid. I cannot dance. I cannot sing. I can't even remember the lyrics of a song. My favorite song. That's how poor my artistic abilities are.
Okay.
But I really want Leia to just, have it. She's gonna learn how to do ballet, piano, whatever she wants to do, and also sports. So Chejo, what's Chejo in English? Chejo is like running and all that stuff that the kids do. So
Yeah.
I want her to do that and swim and hopefully play golf because
Okay.
I want to play golf with my daughter.
That I mean, that's for any child to have an upbringing like that. I think it's quite fortunate. Not everyone has that opportunity. So how do you think her childhood now compares, or the one she will have even as she grows older, compares to the opportunities you had when you were growing up?
I had a good childhood, but sometimes when I think back, I didn't know it back then, but when I think back, I ended up skiing all of my childhood. I was always in those special schools for people who want to ski.
Skiing is an expensive sport.
Yeah, well,
comparatively, as like
I
okay,
did-
so
I did-
you had a good childhood. Okay, now
I
I
didn't
get it.
choose my sport.
Yeah,
See, I was kind of
It
like
chose you.
forced into it.
Okay,
No,
I see.
no, my parents chose it for me.
I see.
So maybe if I played baseball, if I played golf, if I played, I don't know, something else. If I tried a little bit of everything, and then I really kind of fell in love with a sport, or I was really good at one, I could have sort of chosen to do that sport. But I didn't really have that choice. I want my daughter to.
Why didn't you have that choice?
Because I never did anything else. I started at 5 doing those little casual skiing competition, and then that's just what I did. In the summer, you train for skiing, and then
How do you train in summer? Are you
Oh,
skiing on the grass slopes or pretending to like water skiing, or what's the training like in summer?
some stretching, a lot of cardio, a lot of I have the coach, right? You're with your coach, and then he makes you do stuff, sprinting, just I don't know.
It's normal cardio
Just-
based stuff.
Yeah, just normal, a little bit of strength
Why
training
did your
too.
parents like that? Like, if you say you were like kind of pushed in that direction, were your parents like big ski fans, or is this just a Canadian thing?
They signed me up for a kids tournament, and I got first, and they were like, "Oh,
He's got the talent.
yeah."
He's a skier.
That's just how it started, and I never kind of questioned it.
Yeah, you're just like, okay, I guess this is what I'm doing.
But it's cold, man. In Quebec, it was really cold back then. So
Yeah.
Sometimes, and we're not wearing very warm clothes when we're training and racing. We're really cold.
Oh, because you have to be aerodynamic, right?
yeah, it's like those like skeleton ice
Oh
skaters.
my god, like the leotard vibes.
Yeah, not all the time, but
Yeah.
that's what we wear many times.
I can't even imagine.
A
'cause
year, yeah.
The only time we're like skiing is when it's on the water
Yeah.
amongst the water snakes. We don't have the snow.
Yeah, and when the weather's terrible, we're the only ones on the ski resort. It's really cold,
Wow.
or it's raining, or it's not ideal. We're still there, and we have to wake up so early in the morning. I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that. We have to like the skis. They're so high maintenance. You don't realize like the people who go skiing once a month, twice a month, they don't really care. But
Yeah.
for us, we have to wax them. Just like you iron your clothes in the
Yeah,
morning,
yeah.
we have to do that. We have to sharpen the edges. I have scars on my right hand, like here and there, from like just
Sharpening
trying to.
my ski blades.
Yeah, I just wanted to do it like so fast, and just I have some scars left over.
And that all came from your parents saying, okay, well, you're gonna do this, and so you're saying you're not gonna force her into something. You're gonna say, okay, these are your options.
Yeah, these are your options. She's gonna be forced to try everything.
Okay.
She's not gonna be just staying at home watching her phone.
So what?
That's
Yeah,
not
what
my
is
daughter.
it's your first child? What is your philosophy then as a first time parent? You know, with regards to especially the activities.
I'm gonna steal a quote from Californication,
Yeah,
my favorite show.
I do love David Duchovny.
Yeah, his father, he said in the show, he says, we do the best we can. So I'm just going to do the best I can.
Yeah.
Like everything. Like right now, she's just a baby. I try to entertain her, like spend as much time as I can with her, give her healthy food, try to keep the candies away until she's over 3 years old. So she's never really had candies. She's the only kid in my neighborhood who didn't have candies or junk food or everything or ice
Really?
cream. Yeah.
Wow.
So we just do the best we can, and we'll see how it goes. Like we me and my wife, we talk about her all the time, and
Yeah.
we change her mind a lot. Like languages, like I wanted to send her to an English pre-kindergarten, but then after kind of researching online, talking with AI about it, we decided it's probably better if we just send her to a regular Korean kindergarten. It's just everything changes so much all the time. It's just
Interesting. I'm curious. Can you delve into that a little bit deeper? Because I do think one of the more nuanced takes that you can have as a foreign parent in Korea is just your simple Korean parents wouldn't even need to consider, are we going to send them to like a Korean or non-Korean? It's kind of assume that you're going to send your child to a Korean, at least nursery or pre-primary school, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas if you're a foreign couple or a Gukje couple, you have to think, okay, if we're English speaking, which school is the kid gonna go to? Like these sort of things that you question. What's the reasoning behind that?
There's so much time. We have so much time. My daughter, she can learn how to speak French and English at 15 years old, and she will learn so quickly, and she will be really good. Right now, my focus is more, she needs to make a lot of friends, and if she goes to the schools that are like walking distance from where I live, then she'll make friends there, and then she can be like she can make like lifelong friends right now. If I send her to a school that's far away and she sees some kids for like a few years and then never see them again, then what's the point? So just kind of convenience also. It's more convenient to send her to that school, and also speaking the language. So I heard that kids that are around other kids, they learn language faster. So she'll make friends and learn how to speak Korean faster, and then English can wait. And English can wait until she's 5, she's 6. French can wait as long as she wants. There's no rush. Yeah.
Okay. And so, I mean, do you feel, I mean, you say the quote is, we do the best we can, right? But I always think, I'm not a parent myself, but as a first-time parent, like, thinking you're doing the best, but not knowing what the best is, does that cause you any type of anxiety? Like, I want to do the best I can, but not knowing what the best is, what if I do something and then later find out that was the opposite of the best thing that it could have been, but I had already been doing it because I had no prior experience?
Always. Before I had kids, I always felt like I'm not quite ready yet, since a long time ago. You're never ready, and the truth is, you will never feel like you're absolutely ready to have kids. There's always something that could be more perfect, more prepared. But it's the same with the kids. Is there really such a thing as perfection? As long as she's safe, she's warm, she's loved, she's
healthy.
Healthy. Just.
How old were you when Leia was born?
I think I was 40.
40, and you got married when you were 38?
30. Well, I got married during COVID.
Okay. Yeah.
But my marriage was much later because of restrictions. Even when I got married, we were not allowed more than 200 people.
Oh, no.
In 2003.
Only 200 people, yeah.
Well, I know, but when I got married, it was 5 people.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Including the lawyer.
Oh, the official marriage, but not the ceremony.
Yeah, that's crazy.
See. So you were So you were 36 then when you got married.
Yeah.
So 4 years. Do you think that's an optimal age to get married?
Oh no.
Too late?
Too late. Yeah.
Oh really?
Too late. But life happens. I'm lucky that even though I got married too late, I think, I was able to have a child, and then we're planning a second child.
Okay.
So I'm lucky in that sense.
Okay.
But don't wait until you're 40.
Why is that? Why do you think it's better to do it when you're younger?
Because kids are the greatest thing that will ever happen to you. No matter how unprepared you think you are. Even if tomorrow somehow you and I don't know if you have a girlfriend, but if you became a father tomorrow and you're like, whoa, I'm not ready for this. I have this and that to do, and I want to Yeah. No, it's the best thing that will happen. But you You need to have the baby. I always tell my friends, okay,
Have a baby.
that's not what I say. Your whole life,
Yeah.
you've been believing that you will love your kids and they will love you back, and that's going to be great, and then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But once you have a baby, then you feel it. You feel the love that is powerful that you never felt before. So your first love, you love your grandma, you love your dog, you love your mom, you love your sister. But your kid, it's not the same. It's not the same level. It's kind of like love squared.
Does it change the way you view the world? Like like I think of Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, and I really love this movie. And like I mean, the core essence of the movie was that love transcends space and time, and it always sounded a little bit corny to me. But the more I think about love, the more I think that just these understandable restrictions or limitations in life could potentially be transcended by love. You know, if you're thinking about the way you can love someone, it just doesn't make sense in what we know.
Yeah.
Is it similar to that?
Well, for sure, your first love of your first pet, that does not transcend space and time.
Yeah.
But the love for your kids,
Yeah.
it does. It's forever. It doesn't matter what she does. She could do something that I don't know, like she could stab me in the arm,
Yeah.
and I would still love her as much as I do now.
Yeah.
I would forgive everything. I think it's just different.
Because I'll ask you the same question. I've asked this to a friend. I said, you have a daughter or a son. He has a son. And I said, your son commits a murder.
Exactly.
He comes to you, says, Dad, I killed this guy. And it wasn't an accident. Like in that moment, I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
You know, as a parent, like, what do you do? Like, do you turn them in? Do you, console them? Do you say, I'm gonna help you bury the body? Like, it's a really, I feel like it's a philosophical question in the sense of how high do we measure love, and how far are we willing to put our morals or our values aside to protect this thing that we love so much?
I don't think you have to. I think if your child becomes a murderer, I don't know. My daughter will never kill anybody, but let's say somebody else has a child who becomes a murderer.
Yeah.
Then maybe the best thing for the father to do is to seek help.
Yeah.
To go to the authorities and just tell them what happened and sort of seek professional help so that their child can kind of grow out of it. They will probably go to jail for a very long time, but they'll come back, a new person.
Yeah.
That's probably the solution.
I mean, I think there can be nothing more difficult in life than that. I guess that's the premise of the Netflix show, The Adolescence.
Oh, I heard about it.
Yeah, apparently, like I watched the first episode. It was very good, and that's kind of what it is. It's like you love your child, and you find out that potentially they've done this unthinkable thing.
Yeah.
What do you do if you're in that position? It's hard. It's easy to say. Like now, I would say like, oh, I'm turning them into the police. Like I love them, but
that kind
I
of
mean,
show
I also love
harder.
society, and but then the nuances are like, I had this child like in my arms when they're just a sweet angel. How can I do that? Betray them like that?
That kind of story in a TV show hits you different once you have kids.
Oh, really? Do you view the world differently?
Well, when I watch a movie and there's somebody's child that gets hurt, I feel it very much. Sometimes I'll have tears in my eyes just because it's emotional, and it's not something I would ever
have felt before.
Yeah.
So it does definitely change your perspective. And so for you, you weren't ready in the sense. I mean, you were already married a couple of years, and then you had the baby. Why not have it sooner? Or you were like, okay, I want to put it off a little bit more.
I'm 40. 40 is not young, even though, and inside I feel like I'm still 20. Okay, like in my mind, I'm not a grown up.
Yeah.
I'm still a young,
still playing
university
StarCraft,
student.
Poker.
I want to play poker, travel, get drunk.
Yeah.
But time's running out, and I want kids, and I'm really glad. That's one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Although I'm kind of worried these days. Like the world is going to places that I'm thinking, damn, I really got to be planning ahead for my daughter so that she doesn't have too much hardship in her life.
Do you think the world is more dangerous now than it was during the Great Depression or during World War II or during the bubonic plague? You know,
Of course, not at all.
Yeah.
It's one of the safest time in history to live
exactly
as
yeah.
a human.
But what concerns you then as a new parent?
Have you played the game Monopoly when you were a kid?
Yes, even now I still.
You do play?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Think about a game of Monopoly for 1 million people.
Okay.
A large number of people.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't start playing at the same time. Everybody doesn't start when there's no hotel and no houses everywhere.
Okay.
Everybody kind of like, there's more and more people over time that play the game, and some people stop playing because they pass away. But right now, it's a game of Monopoly, but every single piece of land has houses and hotel on it. And if you just kind of start playing now, there's no realistic path forward for you to own one of those houses, own one of those hotels.
And the later you come into the game, the more difficult it becomes.
So that's what's happening in Korea right now. You can be a doctor. You have like no money. You just graduated. You get a job as a doctor, like a really good job, high-paying job, and then you look at an apartment that's barely big enough to have one kid, and the amount of savings you would have to buy that apartment, it would take you so many years just to maybe one day be able to afford it. And you're a doctor.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in right now.
Where doctors that were just traditionally seen as very, very well off, who could probably afford anything. Or
a beautiful house, a vacation, 2 cars. Not anymore.
Why has that happened? I mean, I know you're a scholar of economics and so.
I think it's complicated, but in Korea, the reason why it's happening, I think, is because
you always tell me don't buy property in Korea.
Well, unless you won the lottery. The lottery is like the official way to buy a new apartment in Korea.
Yeah.
It's a lottery, Punyang lottery.
Right.
So you put your name up. Let's say you have the cash, and you buy it way below market price.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you live in that apartment for a little while, you can sell it for
double, triple.
Sometimes $1 million profit. That's just because you won the lottery.
Wow.
And that's the reason why there's a shortage. That's the reason why everybody's struggling to buy an apartment. That's why Korea has the lowest birth rate in the world by far.
Yeah, because it's hard to make ends meet.
Because housing is so expensive because supply has been so limited for so long.
Okay. And urbanization makes everyone move from the countryside to Seoul. I recently I've been shooting a drama and I've been to places just outside of Seoul like Pocheon and Chungju and then also played like Taebaek, and I was like, wow, you don't see any young people. Like
there's no jobs for young people.
Yeah, and even as a young person, if I was there and I lived there, I'd be like, I would see no future here for me. Like, what do I do? Like, do I work in my mom's
coffee
restaurant or cafe?
Yeah.
You can, but like, as a person, you want meaning, on purpose. You want a job that you're gonna have to go to like one of the big cities. So
Absolutely.
even if you love Taebaek, you can stay there.
Absolutely. So because the people who build houses cannot sell their properties at market price, they have to sell it way below market price because that's the Korean law.
Yeah.
Then they don't build. And therefore, there's a shortage.
I see.
There's plenty of other reasons, but those reasons exist in Canada and South Africa and the United States.
Australia,
but this little lottery system that Korea has is very unique, and that's why you see apartments that are millions of dollars that do not compare to anything you could buy with the exact same amount of money in other countries.
Wow, I cannot tell you what you can buy for $1 million in South Africa.
I know.
Oh, wow! You can buy like maybe an 8-bedroom pool villa on the beach with like just the most extravagant house you can imagine. It's. I mean, these days in South Africa, even it's becoming more and more difficult because so many Europeans are starting to move there because they realize how beautiful and inexpensive it is. So if you're just like an average income earner in Germany, you go to Cape Town and you're rich. You're very rich. So, I mean, it's happening everywhere. And you say this is one of the reasons that scares you, like, where the world is going for your daughter?
Well, if the birth rate stays this low, for many generations,
There will be no Korea.
the Korean culture will not exist
Evaporate,
anymore.
yeah.
I mean, more and more people will probably come here from other cultures, and then you don't have the Korean culture that we fell in love with that everybody likes. I think this is something that needs to be protected, and somebody and one day probably will realize that it's a national emergency.
Yeah, I mean,
The birth rate I'm talking
and then it's
about.
gonna be too late. Because it doesn't take one generation. Like you need to have people having 2, 3, 4 kids now to save
Exactly.
the population.
Yeah, maybe it's already too late. It's never really been done before. Like once the birth rate goes down,
Never reversed.
it's never really reversed.
I mean, Japan have now created a society where they're not having more kids. They're just introducing ways to live without kids.
yeah, that doesn't sound like the answer to me.
Yeah, because according to like from what it sounds like, what you're saying, like kids are should be the ultimate reason why we're alive is to have that to experience that love.
Yeah, I have a big family, a family that a strong bonds with your family members. That's really important, and it's disappearing right now.
So why not move back to Canada, or do you feel like you staying here contributes you to trying to help solve this problem by having kids?
It's not something I can fix myself, but I'm thinking about moving somewhere else.
Okay.
Not Canada, but somewhere else. I'm looking at my options right now. My wife really likes Seoul, like really, really likes Seoul.
I mean, it is a good city.
It's fun.
I love Seoul as well.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love driving at night when there's no pollution.
From Yangpyeong to Seoul?
Yeah, like just around the Han River, anywhere. You just drive, and it's just so beautiful. You see the reflection of the building in the water. I just like that very much.
For me, it's the idea I had of New York, having never been to New York, and then as a boy living in South Africa, like we don't have skyscrapers. It's like Los Angeles. It's just like a bunch of big suburbs with the ocean and whatnot. Coming to Seoul, I was like, oh my God, this is what New York is like. And the more I think about it, it's similar. The vibe is just so much going on all the time. And now that I've recently started cycling, which I'm really trying to get you to join me in, I've explored so much more because you go on these cycle paths and you're like, what is this? If I drive, I would have never seen this. If I walk, I would have never gone this far. Like you go through these little roads, these tunnels, these bridges, you see these rivers, you're like, this is amazing. And I think that's one of the, I agree with that's one of the like points that would make me want to stay in Korea. But like, where would you go if it wasn't for that?
Well, if I let's say I have an idea, the perfect solution would be to spend 1 month every year in Canada, and then 3 months in Thailand when it's too cold here, and too cold to golf. It's not that much to do. Because I don't like skiing in Korea. The ski resorts are too small and too many people. It's just people go there. I feel they want to drink as much as they want to ski.
Ski, yeah.
It's not really.
But also the mountains in Canada are just on another level, right?
We have some nice ones in Canada. In Europe, they have some really, really nice ones.
Well, I've only skied in Korea, and I loved it. So I snowboard, but I think I'll love it even more going to something like Whistler. I've heard that's quite amazing.
Whistler's all right.
Yeah.
The Alps are even better.
The Alps?
I'm Canadian, but I'm gonna give it to the Europeans. The
Really?
Alps, yeah, it's so beautiful.
Wow. Okay, that's on the bucket list.
Yeah.
So okay, for you, it sounds like you're very comfortable in the way you can plan. I'm just gonna move here and do this, or send my kids to do this. Like, for you, do you not have an issue to support yourself then? Like you're not tied down by a job, right? Does that affect the way you view the world or the lifestyle you have?
Yeah, it changes everything.
And was that thanks to winning all those StarCraft competitions?
I think Bitcoin had something to play with.
Good
Bitcoin has something to do with that.
The good old Bitcoin, yeah. So, I mean, do you think Bitcoin could be the solution to the property fiasco that currently is facing half the first world?
Eventually, in 50 years, maybe.
Why is it? I was talking to the deputy earlier. Why is it that the value of Bitcoin is just gonna keep going up?
Because they're never gonna stop printing. Every single government everywhere in the world will keep printing, and Bitcoin is being adopted like a network, like a protocol, like the internet, like cell phones, like the telephone. It's just you don't go from 0 to a billion in a year. It's just every year you got 50% more that discover this new protocol technology and something that protects them from fiat debasement. And it's not something that can be accelerated or stopped very easily. China could ban it, Trump, Korea could ban it, but overall in the world, more and more people would be used. Every year there would be more people using it. And eventually, when there's enough people that believe in sound money, something like Bitcoin, then Bitcoin will become, accepted everywhere, and then it will be very valuable then.
Even more than now. So do you think Bitcoin is our generation's property?
Yeah, it's kind of a reset for the game of Monopoly I told you about.
Okay, so this is the new variable is Bitcoin that we didn't have before.
All the traditional assets have been bought already. And because there's been so much money printing, if you're trying to buy this little house, there's more money printing every year. The price of the house goes up faster than you can save up to, ever buy the house. So it's kind of like running against the current in a river.
Yeah.
But the current is really fast.
Yeah.
So you're going as fast as you can, but you're still kind of like standing still or even going backwards.
Wow.
But Bitcoin it's the same game of Monopoly, but it's kind of a new asset class.
And it's not all bought up yet.
It's not bought up yet.
There's still
you can
available.
still get a piece of it. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. So if you can get one somehow, just one, that's a big percentage because there's 8 billion people in the world.
Yeah.
So eventually, if things play out like I think they will, that little piece of 21 million, that 1 out of 21 million, will be a big fraction actually of the wealth.
And I mean, especially since a lot of governments already hold most people alive, 90% of people alive are never even going to own like, definitely not one, but they're not even going to own like 0.1 even.
It's not possible.
Just because there aren't any more.
Yeah, so it's just...
So that means because of that, the price is just going to keep going up because it's so limited. It's not like gold where you can find more in the earth or like houses where you can keep building outside of Gyeonggi-do. There is only 21 million.
Yep, there's only one. And that's why I am a big believer.
So buy Bitcoin.
Buy Bitcoin, not gold.
Yeah.
You can buy gold if you're old, if you're 50, if you have a lot of money, you diversify.
Are you diversified, or do you believe it's all? I mean, you're a big proponent of Bitcoin. Do you think this is all I'm gonna do?
I'm not very diversified. Once I got a kid, I put a little bit of money aside for some bonds. The most boring thing ever.
bonds and yields, stocks.
I just bought
mergers,
just in case, in case.
Yeah,
it's also just for other reasons also, but mostly I'm a believer in Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, I think you've told me quite a lot about Bitcoin. Whenever we meet, we do like to discuss not just buying Bitcoin as an asset, but also philosophically what it represents. I think one of I don't know if it was you who gave me this example. Somebody might have been you said, when we become a spacefaring civilization, like let's say for example we colonize Mars, we can take the gold with us. And the money won't mean anything there. But what you can take with is the value that Bitcoin represents to another planet.
Oh, okay. That wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you.
It wasn't me. I don't agree with that statement.
Oh, you don't agree with that?
That wasn't me.
Oh, so, somebody told me that said you can use that value, then it can be stored anywhere. Oh, so you don't agree with that?
I don't agree. Mars is too far away. There's too much latency between the two planets, I believe. So it will be very complicated.
It's like a couple of hours, like 13 hours.
Well, it's between 20 minutes and 2.5 hours, I think, depending on where we are in orbit. But that would be very complicated to do a transaction on Mars for a cup of coffee. If it takes 2.5 hours.
Give me 2.5 hours. My coffee's gone. I'll take the ice Americano, please. Yeah. Okay, I see. But I mean, so why not make a new one? Why not?
There's going to be a new one that's going to be mined on Mars with the limited amount of energy they have, and it's going to be worth a lot less because there's less assets, less economic power on Mars than Earth.
Okay.
But that's
a whole different kind of words.
That's just science fiction at this point.
I did want to ask you about Devil's Plan.
Yeah.
So when the show came out, I loved it. That was huge. Like I don't right now survival games or the kind of like physical 100 or like PA game or the Hukbae Gyorisa, like these things are huge. Yeah. So Devil's Plan was like a one for like intelligent people, I guess. It's like survival intelligence.
Yeah.
What was your experience on that kind of reality show versus like Bijong Samwindam?
I thought I was gonna crush it. I really thought I was gonna crush it because I was the only kind of guy. I was the only guy with a real gaming background, and I have the poker background as well. And just I thought everything was gonna be simple. But once I got there, the people surprised me so much. Of course, I was the first one to get eliminated.
I was very sad when I was really.
And the first two games.
You were one of the best in the games. You were figuring out this stuff and like leading the team to like victory.
Yeah, that was the Mafia game, and then there was a kind of a puzzle game that you had to do really quickly. I was okay at that too.
Yeah.
And then we had the dice game, and the dice game, you need to speak some serious Korean to build a phrase that will give you the biggest advantage. It's not. It was really tough to actually kind of. I mean.
Even at your level of Korean, having lived here for 23 years.
It was really tough. It's a very stressful environment for some reason. I don't know how physical Beg was for you guys, but it's very stressful to sort of... There's a lot of politics involved, and it was not easy.
Well, I guess like with Devil's Plan, there's the actual strategy you need to have to solve the games, so the riddles of the games. But then there's the politics that plays another part of the game itself, where game theory applies. Like, if I make these alliances and these enemies, will it increase my chances of survival? Where do you think you went wrong? Because you were obviously very good at the games, but how did you get voted out first?
We played a dice game, and we were the 4 people who had the more resources accumulated, the pieces, and we were against the 8 people who had the least. They kind of like made a team.
Who were the 4?
You want to know their names?
Yeah.
And there was Seokjin, there was Dongju, and Dongjae.
Okay.
Yeah, those guys. By the way, I just played golf yesterday with Seokjin. We're really good friends now.
He's an actor.
Yeah, he's an actor. Super smart guy.
Yeah,
a real smart guy.
Yeah, he's also he's a friend of a hyung of mine. They're also very good friends. Yeah.
So
he was the winner in the end.
Yeah, he won. Yeah. So you need to have amazing memory. Like this Dongju girl, she has an incredible memory. Like when I watched her, it's just I could never dream of coming close to her level in terms of memory.
Wow.
For instance.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of So I'm a gamer. I played the same game for 2 years. I don't need to have a good memory. I know everything by heart because I play so many games, and there's just so much you need to memorize.
Yeah.
But like just on the spot like this, you just like, for instance, look at a picture with so much going on in the picture, and then turn your back, close your eyes, and then you're being asked about that picture.
Yeah.
And then some people, they just their brain doesn't work like mine. That's for sure. They just remember everything. It was very impressive.
So is that I can't remember exactly. Is that why didn't you get voted out? You didn't.
No, I didn't get voted out.
You lost that game.
Yeah, there was a dice game, and me and the other young kid, very smart guy, poker player, professional.
Yeah.
And we had a disagreement about what the best strategy is. For that game.
Yeah.
I was on the let's get as many tickets as we can. He was on that let's use as many of our pieces or resources as we can.
Yeah.
And turns out I was right. So the other team had lots of tickets, we didn't, and that turned out to be a huge disadvantage.
So you acquiesced to his strategy. You said, okay, let's go.
Well, that guy can talk. He can do politics. He's like when he says something that you have an argument and you're not so sure because, okay, first of all, it's a new game that we've never played. We read the rules and we have like 2 hours to think about it. So you never get to play the game. You just sort of know the rules, and then you have to make the best possible strategy for that game that you never played. So sometimes, when you have no experience, you just think something's just like, it sounds really smart on paper, but in practice, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. So, I mean, I just happened to be right. It could have been the other way around, because we never played the game. That was just...
But in the end, your intuition,
right?
Your gaming intuition was right in the strategy that you thought of.
It turned out to be right.
And then
for that time.
So do you like if you could go back, what would you do differently?
I would betray my team. I would say like, if you're gonna do that strategy, I'm out. I'm just gonna play on my own.
Yeah.
And that would have been no problem, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a kind of game where defending costs less resources than attacking the other team. So I could have been on my own and just
Still done well.
probably gotten a really good.
It's very
good
interesting.
score.
'Cause how many days were you? Were you there? Because you seem to have gotten very emotional when you left.
Yeah, but the other guy was crying because he felt so sorry because he knew that he screwed up.
Yeah, you can swear, bro. It's all right.
I don't want to swear.
Okay.
He knew.
Yeah.
And at the end, it was some kind of a dice game, some kind of Monopoly / dice game.
Yeah.
And at the end, it was just me and him left.
And you're in the same team.
And we are on the same team,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
now it's just, and the guy who gets last just goes home.
Yeah.
And then I was way ahead, and then I had a bad dice,
Yeah.
went to prison, and then he started crying
Damn.
because he knew he was going to win.
Yeah.
I was going to lose.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And then he's just like, he couldn't, it was just a grown adult, a man, crying right next to me because I'm going to lose the game.
Yeah.
And everybody just like, there was like lots of people watching.
Yeah.
And everybody was so sad. It was
Yeah.
like, that's the point. Like, we're playing a game, it's a survival. Somebody's got to go home.
Yeah.
And everybody starts like being emotional, tears in their eyes
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
And then like, it just came to me. I couldn't
Wow.
control it.
Oh, wow. Isn't it amazing how in a non-real environment
Yeah.
we can become so invested?
Yeah, it surprised me as probably more. Actually, the producer, the very smart guy, the guy
Yeah.
who made The Genius and then he made Devil's Plan.
Yeah.
He knew that was gonna happen. He knew that in that situation, it's just so much adrenaline and stress and emotions that
Yeah.
like tears come to our eyes.
Yeah.
For most people.
Yeah, I was very surprised because I mean I know you, and when I saw that I was like, either he's an amazing actor, he missed his calling in
No.
life, or he was really invested in this game, or is something not supernatural, but something happened that happens to actors when they're on set. Is they fully immerse themselves in this situation where you really become a part of it, and you feel like this is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
And then these outside influences, especially emotional ones, affect you so much where you're like, oh well, this is real, you know?
It's real.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real. I cannot really explain it because that's not who I am. I'm not like the guy who's gonna cry randomly for losing a game of poker or StarCraft or anything.
Yeah, exactly. That's I was very
strange.
surprised. I was like,
Yeah.
this is that made the game more interesting for me because
Yeah.
I felt okay, now these people are invested, which means it's a better
Yeah.
game. So
Yeah.
you say it surprised you. You thought you were gonna smash it. You're like one of the smartest guys, you know. Like,
I thought I was gonna smash it, and if I lost, I didn't think I was gonna cry.
okay,
Yeah.
Do you think you would ever? I know they did the second one. If they
Yeah.
called you, would you ever do it again?
They're doing the third one right now, and they didn't call me, so no, I don't think I would do it. I just realized it's not easy. It's just I don't think I'm that good at that kind of stuff. Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does
I mean,
it-
you got to be able to betray somebody who's helped you.
Yeah.
If you're not able to do that, you don't really stand a chance.
Wow.
Well, I mean, maybe, but you're gonna be put in so many tough spots.
Yeah, later
And what
on.
are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you gonna be the guy who's trying to win? Like you're supposed to.
Yeah,
That's
the
your
game.
job. That's the game. You got to do it. You can do it. You're an A. Yeah, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I can.
Yeah, you can.
I think I would love to have,
Yeah,
have
but-
done that.
Yeah.
So what's next for you then? Like if you've done, it seems like so you've gone from StarCraft legend, super hot in Korea, then on that just playing poker, then being in one of the most pioneering TV shows, unexpected ratings, became even more famous amongst the very general public. Because when I first met you, we would go out and people would stop you all the time.
Yeah.
Guys and girls, obviously the demographic from StarCraft and Bijong Samedam, Non-Summit just merged, and you were just known everywhere, right? Then
Yeah.
from there, after that, I think you did something here and there, but kind of, sort of focusing on your own stuff. So where to from now? What is what keeps you going? What makes you get up in the morning?
Well,
Beside your daughter, because I know that's the answer.
yeah, I get up at 6 a.m. now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Same.
I honestly don't know. I read and I watch podcasts like yours a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm doing everything I can to become a good golfer, and it's not working. Like, I practice so much that when you unlock your phone, you use your thumb, right?
Yeah.
I practice so much that once a month I have to redo it because
It's your
my thumb, like the.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it just goes
Losing
away.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not even supposed to be like that when you play golf because you don't
Too
hold
much
the club
too
too
much
hard.
power going in there, bro.
But I just hold it too hard, and that's just how bad of a golfer I am. But I try really hard, and so far it's not working. But one day maybe.
So golf.
So I do this golf, lots of daughter,
Yeah.
lots of studying. I'm translating books from French to Korean
Really?
for kids.
Oh wow.
Kids, like very simple stuff.
Yeah,
Because my
yeah.
Korean's not that good, as you know.
Yeah.
But one day, my daughter will be able to read a kid's book in Korean that's
Right.
been translated by me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it's gonna have my little picture at the bottom, so that's gonna be really cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there are these things, these challenges that you start to give yourself when you've accomplished so much in your life, where you're like, okay, what's the next thing I need to do to provide my life with meaning? What am I gonna be remembered for, or what is my daughter gonna see one day? And do you feel like you're heading more towards that with the things that matter to you, that give you meaning? What are those things?
The things that give me meaning. I need to find it actually, because the TV stuff for me is over. TV's over, StarCraft's over, poker, poker's over too. I need something else. And I don't know what it's going to be. So we'll see. Maybe something will come up and I really like doing this and I'm decent at it. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Do you
don't
have
know
any
yet.
protocols that you follow? You're looking pretty good now. You look like you're in very good condition. Is there anything that you do on a regular basis that you can say, okay, me doing this has had a real effect on my life?
I never chase perfection. So for instance, I go to a functional doctor once in a while. I get blood tests, vitamins and everything. And I look at everything. I talk with him and then I confirm everything with my favorite AI. And then
What's your favorite AI?
well, it used to be ChatGPT, but nowadays I feel like Grok is a little bit better.
Okay.
But it really, I just use both and I kind of like cross-reference one with the other.
Okay, I gotcha.
So I do like, but I don't chase perfection. I'm not like you. Like I just want to be 80% there. If I just can get to 80%, I'm happy with this. I just want to live healthy long enough so that when I'm a grandfather, I can play with my grandkids.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
So it's like that for everything, right? Everything in my life.
Yeah, I think that's also become a goal for me, is not the health span, but not the lifespan, but the health span.
Yeah, health
not
span.
just it's okay to live to 80, but if you get to 60 and you can't walk, what's the point of living to 80?
Yeah,
I want to get to 80 and do an Ironman.
Bro, I've seen it. So most of my family members are not looking too good at 60. And sometimes I think the best thing I might have done in my life is just leave and come to Korea. Because
Yeah.
in Korea, well, people will fat shame you. People fat shame me when I get above 95 kg.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
good
It's
because
good.
it wakes you
It's
up.
great.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it wakes
I'm
me up.
getting overweight.
Yeah.
I'm not healthy.
Yeah. And when I got to 104, I got to 104.
I remember those days, bro.
Yeah,
You had
I
a
was-
bit of a...
I was big, right?
Yeah.
And that was not the good fat. That was not. There's no good fat, but
Yeah.
that was like all like beer fat, like
Yeah.
visceral fat,
Right,
the stuff
right.
that chokes your heart
sits around the organs.
increases your chances of heart attacks.
Yeah.
So just one day, I had the right people around me, people who exercise, take care of themselves, some crazy people who count calories.
Yeah.
I had everything, right?
Yeah.
And I decided, okay, it's over. I don't want to be like
That guy.
my family members
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be like I'm in Korea. It's easy to be healthy here because Hanshik, Korean food, is just so healthy.
So
It's
healthy.
so delicious.
Yeah.
So you just eat you just cut the processed food. You work out, you exercise, you sleep.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what I wanted to ask you. So in closing, I like to I want to create this tradition where I ask my guests to impart on me one piece of wisdom that I could use or remember in my life to just make my life a little bit better, to try and be a better person. Well, it doesn't have to be deep, or is there anything that you have in your life that you can give to me that I could potentially try?
I'm trying to not repeat myself, but
Even if it is something that you might have mentioned, like just distill it into something short.
yeah, well, I'm gonna say 2 things I've already said. As soon as you find a good girl,
Yeah,
just have kids.
yeah,
Yeah, have kids, and
have kids.
don't chase perfection in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to be the best that you can be. But if you always want to be perfect when you're training, when you're acting and everything, then you can be too hard on yourself. And depending on your personality, it might prevent you from really enjoying the moment. So sometimes just take a rest day, chill, enjoy,
Yeah,
relax.
I need that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'll take those to heart. But it's been really great having you. Like, I hate how quickly time flies when we chat.
Has it been an hour?
It's been an hour and a half.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yo, I
We
appreciate
didn't even
you.
talk about Bitcoin.
Oh no,
We spent like 1 minute on Bitcoin.
We dipped into it. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mate, thanks for coming. I always appreciate hanging out with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to having chats with you more about Bitcoin offline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have some barbecue.
Yeah, this man,
Cool.
he makes the best meat. He always has like Greek yogurt and good meat in his house. That's all he has in his fridge.
That's all I eat these days. Fruits, Greek yogurt, and meat.
Yeah, that's
Grass-fed.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, yo, mate. Love
Thanks,
you,
bro.
brother.
Yeah. Love you. Thanks for inviting.
My pleasure. Okay, good. Right on time. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed that, we have a few other full-length podcasts you can check right here. Click it. Go ahead.